Good evening, viewers. It's time for Subscriber Monday number 33. This week features SlartiBartFart. I'm just gonna call you Bart. I've said your name once, so that should be good. I hope. He is in his SU-8, which is an artillery, obviously. I think it's actually the first Subscriber Monday which is featuring artillery. So congrats. And yeah, Sand River. One of the more open maps, so I would imagine artillery players really like this map. So it is encounter. Right away he's going down to the K0 area and aiming for the tanks going up to the A9. Spots an IS. Well, his team spots an IS. He takes a shot at it, misses. So misses his first shot. Most likely, the second one will be better, considering now the IS isn't moving as much. And there's a T-29 side on and backing up, so you know where he's gonna go. Bart fires, hits the T-29 and tracks him, and then he's dead. IS is still there, still has a shot on him, which is good. Taking the time to aim while he reloads. Misses the IS yet again. The SU-8 actually has a surprisingly quick aiming time, doesn't it? Oh my god. That has to be like... That has to be an artillery's dream right there. A TOG on, well, almost full health now, in the middle of an open field, just stopped. And yeah, alright. So he kills the TOG, not surprising. Hit it for 924, which is great for him, not so much for the TOG. And now they have a bit of a problem in the south. Enemy E-25, ARL-44, and Nashorn. He decides to go for the E-25 over the ARL. And he has to be careful because that M6 is right there. Kinda tempted by the Nashorn there, but decides to go for the E-25 yet again. Hits the E-25 on the move, which is kinda surprising actually, considering it's not a slow tank and it's pretty small. For 763. And now his team definitely has a problem. They have all those tanks down there and they only really have like 3 or 4 tanks defending. Although the E-25 is pretty badly damaged. Sadly, he misses the Nashorn. Well, sadly for him. Probably, well, never mind. Probably a good thing for the Nashorn, except the IS just finished him off instead. So he managed to survive a couple more seconds. SU-100 sitting on the top of a hill. He hits him for 381. So going back to the ARL and E-25, and his team's actually lost the north as well. They're kind of just sitting in the base in like the middle of the map for some reason. And they lost their final tank, which was spotting and defending the K line. Takes the last second shot at the ARL-44. Don't think he hits it. So he's waiting on a reload and hoping something decides to spot them. Because right now, if they don't get spotted by the A-43, they have an open line on their artillery. Which is not a good thing for Bart or the team, really. And there they go. A-43 managed to spot the ARL before running off for some reason, and Bart finishes him off. So that's one less threat. However, the E-25 is still there, and they have an IS about to go into their base. And he's pretty good health too. So Bart is now aiming in, and he just reloaded. IS is somewhat protected by the buildings, but he backs into a spot where he can get shot, and he sits there. Unfortunately, Bart, his shell overshoots by a little bit, which is unfortunate because it was a perfect side-on shot. If his shell hit, it probably would have done quite a bit of damage. Now, he's almost reloaded, so he could still mess him up. And luckily for the IS, he stops just in time. So he only gets splashed for 278 instead of getting a shot into his engine deck. So now they have 3 tanks against 4, except the enemy has a pretty much dead E-25 and 3 artillery. So if his team can play it smart, they might be able to win, most likely. So Bart is now looking at the typical artillery positions, seeing if there's gonna be any tracers coming out of there, so he can counter them. Takes a blind shot at a typical spot, doesn't hit anything from the looks of it. An allied A-43 is going either to spot the E-25 or for the cap. One of the two. Meanwhile, the SU-100 has gone all the way north. And the A-43 so far hasn't spotted anything. Which means the E-25 may have fallen back to his base, and there's the enemy artillery, well, one of them. SU-100 kills it, and he doesn't look like he's moving. There he goes. Alright, he's moving now. So the A-43 is capping the enemy, not the enemy base, but the base. And Bart is now seeing if he can get early shots on the artillery as soon as they're spotted. The question is, can the SU-100 spot them without dying? And the answer is no. And in typical fashion, as soon as he dies, he calls out the entire team as being a noob team with no brain. Alright. So pretty much now, Bart has to try to figure out where the E-25 is going to pop up. He's spotted the SU-100, so he's either at like D2, or he's in somewhat of a middle position. So he could pop up on that ridge, or he's going to take the route, the more direct route, and go down the road. So it's kind of a matter of figuring out which one is more likely. And he takes the direct route. Alright. Hits the A-43 once. A-43 gets behind the buildings where he's safe, and then for some reason decides to push outside onto an E-25. Don't know why. So Bart has he doesn't really have a shot in the E-25, but he knows where he's stopped, which is a good thing. So he could try splashing him, but I don't think the SU-8 has that much in the way of splash. And yeah. The shell also falls short and hits the building. So now, he can either do one of two things. He can go and try getting into a position where he has a shot on him without hopefully getting spotted and hope it's still there. Or he can try going in there and shotgunning it without the enemy artillery killing him, which is generally a more last ditch thing for the most part, considering it's 3-on-1 and they have 2 artillery. So he's repositioning, which is generally a good thing to see in artillery. They tend to just kind of sit still and not move. So he's trying to get into a position where he actually has a shot on him without, you know, spending the time destroying every single building in the way, like most artillery players would probably do. And just to get this out of the way before someone is butthurt and complains, I'm not saying every artillery would do that, I'm just saying most probably would. Anyways, so he's aiming where he was last spotted. Overshoots, but luckily the E-25 went further back. So he actually hit him right on, which is a good thing. However, as you've probably noticed, there's still 2 enemies in the cap, which means that the 2 artillery, instead of one of them going to the cap or one sitting back or both sitting back to cover him, are both right in front of him. So he's taking blind shots, hoping to hit one of them, and he's somewhat back on the hill, so he might have a chance to spot them if they move. Or he can keep, well, he could take the last ditch effort if it comes down to it, because he has 38 seconds, and he has like a, what, 22-second reload? Spots the enemy SU-8. So he definitely has time to fire a couple more shells in there and hope to get lucky. SU-8 spots him in return and is turning, however he has 2 seconds on the reload. 1, fires, kills the SU-8. GW Panther fires, hits the dune in front of him, and he gets away unscathed. So he's repositioning, and hopefully the enemy artillery doesn't know he's right there, and that he became undetected before he stopped, hopefully. Otherwise he might have a bad day. So he thinks the enemy artillery is in that little corner there. So he's taking blind shots and destroying the buildings. He has 1 minute and 42 seconds to try weeding it out. However, the one problem he does have is he only has 4 HE rounds and then 3 heat rounds. So he kinda can't waste all of his ammo doing that. He has the time to do it, but you know, if he does that and runs out of ammo, he's kinda fucked, to put it gently. So he's going in from a different angle to hopefully catch him by surprise, waiting on the reload, reloaded, going in, and it worked. Now the question is, can he hit the target? And he can. Alright. You'd be surprised how many times I've seen artillery in that situation and just completely missed the shot. So, that's nice. 5 kills, 3,596 damage that we know of. Onto the after battle result. So that was a ace tanker, fighter, bruiser, Gores medal, defender, high caliber. Top of the team for damage, 3,659, 5 kills. Top experience as well, not really surprising. He actually got the top damage for both teams, so that's interesting. 21 shots fired, 6 direct hits, 6 splash damage, 3,659 damage. He took 1 hit from splash damage and spotted 2 enemies, destroyed damaged 8, destroyed 5, got 419 assistance from the T-29. Got 2 base capture points and 100 base defense points. Made a profit of 23,760 and 1,440 experience. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thank you for sending in your replay. I enjoyed watching it, surprisingly enough, considering it's arty. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Feel free to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And thank you for watching.